Today we'll be creating a video about typography. So there's a bunch of different ways that you could go about making a typography video. The idea pretty much is just some text on screen with some fancy animation. Yeah, I guess we'll just, yeah. Explore a wide selection of pre-made creative tools for DaVinci Resolve, like titles, transitions, slideshows and infographics, like bar charts and callouts, and much, much more. Link in the description for more information. First, I would probably go and get a whole bunch of different fonts. I'm just going to be using the fonts that I already have installed. But yeah, so I need to get some type of audio to go with this. So today we'll be creating a video about typography, and that's my audio. All right, so now that we have the audio, we now need to go into DaVinci Resolve. So getting DaVinci Resolve here, first going to go in and set my frame rate, which is in the bottom corner down here. We're going to click this little gear, and then we're going to be shown this. And what we're going to be picking is whatever we want our frame rate to be. Okay, now we're going to bring in the video. Okay, and I'm just going to just grab the audio from this because we don't really need that. Okay, there we are. I don't need this one. We just need this little audio. Okay, so now that I have my audio brought in, right, now I'm going to make a Fusion comp, and we're just right-clicking up here, new Fusion comp, and in here, you can make this as long as you want. For now, I'm just gonna make it 15 seconds. If it needs to be longer, I can make it longer. Hit create, drag it down, and once you drag it down, you can then grab the end of it and make it longer or shorter depending on however big your project is. So I'm just going to make it that long. And we're going to go over into Fusion. Once we're in Fusion, I'm going to, the only thing I'm going to have here is a media out node. As we can see there, it's media out. So I need to get a media in node to be able to bring in the audio so I know when to time the words. So I'm just going to hold down Shift and hit spacebar. It's going to bring up our tool so then we can just type in here whatever we need. So media in, so there's media in, media out. I'm just going to create a media in node. We're just going to have it up here in the viewer. You're not really going to be able to see it, but over here, just want to make sure that it's on timeline and not anything else but timeline. So if we open up our keyframe tool here, these are probably going to be smaller for you. Like, I forget what size they typically are, but probably like this. We just need to get all of our audio to show up in here. So when I scroll back and forth, it's then going to cache that. So now a video. Today we'll be creating a video about typography. So there is our audio now. Now we have the audio in the project so we can hear it while we were adding in all of the text. So the next thing I want to do is let's create a background quick. And I actually want to do a gradient, and let's pick two colors. So let's pick a red. Maybe something like that. And over here, I'm going to pick a darker red, maybe like that. And let's go radial. And now if we see it up here, we can grab it. Maybe have it go the other way. Or actually, no. Have that there, have this here, but flip these two. There we are. Okay, I make this 0.5, 0.5, so it's right in the middle. And I think that's going to be my background. All right, so next, today we're going to create a text node for each letter. So the first one, I'll show you quick. We'll just write today. And then we're going to make this easy, we're going to copy this. And then on the node, we're going to hit F2, and it's going to enable us to rename the nodes. So I'm going to go through and just create a node for each word that I said. Okay, so here are my nodes. And today we'll be creating a video about typography. So those are all of my words. They're in separate nodes. You could make them all in the same one. You're just not going to have the flexibility to easily manipulate. So we can go in and we can pick different fonts that we want. I'm going to stick with that, and I'm actually going to make this all caps. There's a number of different ways that we can have the animations come on. We can do simple things like right on, where as this progresses, we have it right on. We can add in different modifiers. Modifiers allow you to do a number of different things. So I'll just show you a modifier. We'll make this one a modifier. Today will be. So we have a short amount of time. We only have a handful of frames here to write today out. So I'm going to start at 6, and we're probably going to go to 14. Today will be. Yeah, about 13, 14, right? So over here is the frame number, and right here's our playhead. So somewhere in here. I'm just clicking it, and we're going to go into to add a modifier to this. This particular value, we're going to add a modifier. You can add modifiers to any value. We're going to add a modifier to this one. We're going to do the follower modifier. How the follower modifier works is it's going to be a delay between anything that we do within the rest of this modifier, adding from one character to the next character. And then you can have it in the order of the characters from left to right. You can do right to left, inside out, all sorts of different things. And you can do between each character or the delay between the first character and the last hire as a whole. And this doesn't have to be a single delay for like a single frame. You can do subframes. So you can have this like 0.5. So that will be, over one frame, it's being added to 2 characters, right? But one's going to be like halfway there. I think I'm going to do a couple of different things. One, I'm going to do opacity, and 2, I'm going to be doing a position change. So I'll start here, and you have to remember that this is over the course of one character. So you don't want to make this super long because it's going to take that character that long to do it. So if I make this opacity from 0 to 1 over 10 characters, the first one's going to start it, and then the next one's going to start it with whatever that delay is. So the next one's going to start at a half a frame, the next one, and so forth. So I'm just going to start it here, and then let's come up 2 frames, and we'll have it go full so we can see each one. So the first one comes on. This is already at 5, so that means that this next character, because it has a half of frame delay, it's going to be at 0.25, right? And so on. So now we have that animation. But like I said, I'm going to add on a position change as well. So I want it to actually start up high, right? So this adds a thing here, but we want it to start up high, and then actually I'm going to have it start back here high, and then over, let's say, let's go to this one, and let's remove that keyframe. But so 1, 2 frames, it's going to come down below, and then in another 2 frames, it's going to go to 0. So let's take a look and see how that looks. Today we'll be creating. It's way too fast. So I'm just going to come back into here, and we're going to take a look at all of the keyframes that we have here so far. So here are our keyframes. So let's first go into I think today will be it coming on is fine, but I'm just going to extend the 2 keyframes for the displacement. So I'm going to scoot it over and scoot this one over. Today we'll be creating. Okay, so that's my today. Today will be. And now we have to go to wheel, right? So I'm going to take this one and drag it on top of the wheel. So now we have both of them there. Actually, you know what? I have to do it I'm going to do it the other way. So we're going to go like that. And which way do I want to do this? So now the next one is the wheel. So I'm just going to drag the from the wheel up to today. And what I'm going to listen for today will be is right about here. I'm going to flip these the other way so that these are going the opposite way. So I'll just hit Control T and it'll flip it. And now I'll have control of the today. So I'll start here, and I'll just move up a couple of frames to like here. And I'm just going to go like that, right? Just a quick move like that. And I'm also going to add on motion blur to this. because I want to have it like you can see that motion, right? Today we'll be creating. And then in here, I'm going to do a write on that goes the other way, right? So I'm just going to do this simple write on that goes like this, kind of matched up with these keyframes, but I'll go one keyframe extra. So I'll go here, and then by the time we get here, I'm going to have it come all on. So now it'll look like, today we'll be creating. So about 22 is when we say the creating. So again, I'm going to actually go from here down onto here. And if we view this, we can see the creating. Think I'm going to have this do a couple of different things. One, actually, we're going to drop this down. I'm going to switch this up just a little bit. In between here, I'm going to put a transform node, and I'll show you why here in a second. Because if I have a transform node, one thing I can do is I can change this pivot. So if I move the pivot off to the edge here and I do a rotation, it's going to rotate it there. If I didn't have that pivot, it's going to pivot in the middle of it. So I'm actually going to have it come out like that. And we're going to do a couple of different moves here. So if I look at this like this, let's close that for now. And so we're starting at 22. So 22 on the transform, I'm going to say here and keyframe here. Creating. I'm going to come out a little bit, and I'm going to first move this over here to about there. And then while it's doing that, have a keyframe here and a keyframe here, and we're going to go 90, I believe. No, let's go the other way. Negative 90. We'll be creating, and we can add a little bit of easing into here. And I think I want to make this a little longer too while I'm at it. So I'll move this out a couple of frames, and we'll hit F to add a little bit of easing in there. We'll be creating. And the idea here is that we're just adding different animations and we're moving everything at the same time. So this might not, what I'm teaching you here might not be the exact play-by-play that you're going to do with yours, depending on what you have. I'm just kind of showing you a couple of different tactics that you can, different ideas you can do to create your animation. Again, I'm going to do a follower here, and we're going to put a half in here as well. I'm actually going to come over into shading. For this, I will do, actually, let's do soft. So let's have this go to like 8, like a full 8, 8, 8. And we will do that. And we will have this all the way down. And then by the time it gets to here, we'll have this 0, 0, but come in, let's say 2, and have this as a 1. All right, some other things that I want to do with this. Come back over to here. Let's change the font of this to something different. And we might increase the size a little bit. So let's have this connected up. I'm actually going to flip this. And where is our A currently? Why don't I see it? Oh, you got to pull it up to see that node, right? So we have an A there. And let's actually take that A and slide it so it's like in that word. And we're going to do the same thing we did before by coming back a little bit, keyframing, so like right here, and then having it go over like that. And then in shading over the course of this, maybe not as long, but have that come on. So we'll add this on as well. And we'll take this video and maybe bring the video down little bit. Let's change the font up on this one. And we can also go into transform, rotation. Maybe it's overlay rotation. Yeah. But let's have this, the anchor point being the top, because then I believe when we rotate this, it'll rotate on top. Yeah. Interesting. So we'll have it like that, so you can't really see it. A video. Video's like 54. So we'll come back, come to here, come up a little bit, make it like 10, and then 0. A video about. All right, let's go back here and we'll make this -10, and then 2 more, then have it 0. So it does like a little bit of a, there we are. A video about. I don't really like its positioning. So I'll bring it down here. Video about. I'm going to come in a little bit too. We're going to, oops, just the one. Increase and decrease. Bring this in just a little bit. A video about. Yeah, we need to make this a little longer now. A video about. A video about. And then we're going to add on about, but we're going to take from here and go onto the about. And then view about. Where is about? Hello. We're going to make this big. There we are. And then actually flip this the other way and rotate about. Actually, we can have it rotate in here. Rotate about to 180. 180. Like, and then we can maybe have it come from the side here. So to do this, we're just going to grab a box and connect it like that. Only allow it to be visible when it comes into this box, right? So we'll make this box bigger. 75. And we will add on motion blur here. Positioning here. And we have it start. About. This is like all backwards for me right now. Have it come in like that. About. All right. And then from here, we'll bring both of these down. Transform node. And bring it in. And then in the transform node, while this is happening, so let's have it happen right here. I'm going to then rotate it like this. Okay. So let's go back to 0. Keyframe. Come up a little bit to about here. And we'll go 180. We can come back a little bit actually. There. Keyframe that. And then I'll look up all these and I'll ease that, just the end of that. And then once I ease that, motion blur. So we get motion blur and everything. I'll just bump this up to like 4. Video about. So while this is all happening, I can also bump it over a little bit. About typography. I'm going to do another transform. You could probably do this accurately without this extra transform, but this one will just make it a little easier for me over here. And it's just going to be a little scoot, just a little one. So something like that. I'll add a little bit of easing and also have this calculate some motion blur. Actually, you know what? I won't even have it calculate motion blur because it's moving so little. Go about type. And now I will add on the typography thing. Maybe have it up here. We'll rotate this as well. Maybe another transform here. We will have it centered, quick shift. So have it go the opposite. Why am I not viewing this? Have it go this way. Also have it probably center it more so like here. And then for this, another follower, and have this be 0.5 as well. Come over into shading, and then in shading, we're going to go down to position, and we're going to click here, and we will have this go way off screen. So we want to have it way off screen, way up here, but then down here, we want it to come back down to 0. So now if we view this, about typography. All right, so now we have it like that. I'll add a little easing. Typography. Maybe we'll add a bit more easing just because it's coming from so far away. I want it to just look cool. So this is all really just to taste. There's nothing special about this. About typography. All right, so I'm gonna take a look at this whole thing now. Today we'll be creating a video about typography. So yeah, that's pretty much how I would go about doing this. And you know, this is just a short tutorial to show you a couple of ideas and how you would create something like this. A couple of little things that I would do. But if I was to actually create this into something, I would probably take a bit more time. Once you have it all done, we can then lay it on top of our colored background, and then there we have it. You're then going to pipe all of this into the media out. Piping it into the media out, which will then, like we did at the beginning, it'll go onto that Fusion comp for our edit page, and then we'll have all of that stuff here. So that is pretty much how to do it. Then you would just render it out like you would render out any other video. So yeah, I completely forgot to record some type of outro, but yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, awesome. Yeah. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, great. If you didn't, hopefully it was at least entertaining. But with that being said, my name's JR. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a good one.